Welcome back to Wages and Warriors with Mario Herron. It is UFC 315 weekend. Thank the Lord. We have a lot of good fights on this card. About 3 to 4 former champions too. Exciting stuff, man. It's going to be a good one. Make sure, as always, to like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment if you hate it. Leave a comment if you love it. Both goes long ways. As always, make sure to check out the recent episode of the Bullet Crew podcast. Josh Pele is off in Italy learning Italian. Spending a little time with the wife, almost called her fiance, but wife now, Mrs. Palais. But he'll be back next week, and we think so. But check out the last pod. We did chargers you want to golf with, as well as talk about some of the hardest and easiest schedules in the NFL. Remember, guys, NFL schedule release comes out next week, so we'll break it down on the Bullet Crew podcast, available also on YouTube. But it's UFC 315. Exciting card, like I mentioned. Lots of bets in this, lots of action. So let's go ahead and dive into it. The first fight I want to start with, because I think it's just going to be an electric one, is Sterling versus Arslan. It's a prelim fight. It's Sterling 6-0, and he faces Arslan, who's 14-4, has 11 first-round finishes, and 10 wins by KO, 1 win by submission. The reason why I like this fight so much is it's just going to be electric. I was talking to Brandon Combs last night on BetMGM tonight, and he was saying he's only heard fantastic things about Sterling, and it's easy to say that, right? He has, out of his 6 wins, it's 5 of them are knockouts. He has 5.82 strikes landed per minute. This guy is lethal. He is dangerous, and he faces another guy that, knocks people left and right out. 11 first-round finishes. That means as soon as this fight starts, you sit down, you stay down, and you don't get up. You DoorDash something because you can't leave the couch. And you have someone else go get it at the door, or you leave it at the door because the fight's going to be over in 3 minutes. This is going to be really, really exciting stuff. I lean Sterling pretty heavy in this fight. And the reason why is because when you have two lethal strikers who have this crazy knockout power where it's going to be lights out very quickly, I like to go towards the person that, one, is running a little bit of a hotter hand and has the better reach advantage, right? Sterling is 6'4" compared to the 6'2" Arslan, 79 inch reach compared to a 72.5. He can create the distance and make it very hard for Ivan to kind of get into the box and get comfortable. Sterling will be comfortable the whole time. So that's why I kind of favor him in this one. So I'm going to go in and take Sterling. I'm going to go by knockout. This fight, if you can take it to not go the distance or take the under in rounds, take that as well. It is not, like I said, it's not going to be long, man. It's going to be in a blink of an eye and it's over. It's going to be really, really exciting. I'm very excited for that one to get started. We go on to Jessica versus Jasmine. Jasmine, as we all know, very solid fighter. Home court advantage with being Canadian. A lot of Canadian fighters in this, which is great. Jessica is coming off a tough loss to Silva, who we'll get to later in this episode. But Jessica, she's 1 win away, I believe, from tying Amanda Nunes for most wins in UFC as a woman. So she's trying to chase history right now. She's lethal on the feet. She's lethal on the ground. And the numbers say it, right? 6.33 strikes landed per minute. 2.23 takedowns on average. And like I said, she's coming off a very tough loss. And she faces another up and rising fighter in the UFC in Jasmine. Jasmine, she's on a 3-fight win streak, all in 2024. So not only is she hot right now, but she's active. And that's something that you always want to back. You want to back the active fighters because that means they're in shape and they're in their prime. And that means they haven't taken a lot of damage. Usually when there's, fighters go take back-to-backs is because they dominated the last couple fights and that the rest period can be a little shorter, can be a little smaller, or maybe they're on the younger side, right? They're 26 or 27, not 35 or 36, although some are, shout out Alex Pereira, and they can kind of move on and take the next fighter and they really try to rise up in the rankings or set history and become a champion. With Jasmine, she is 3.72 strikes landed per minute. She's 13-3, 2 wins by knockout, 3 by submission, 2 first-round finishes. She is, like I said, in her home country of Canada. Shout out maple syrup. In this one, this is a true stay away from me. I'm not going to bet this one, but I wanted to mention it because I think it's going to be a very, very interesting fight. It can go either way. I lean Jasmine because I like the up-and-comer in this of Jessica's coming off a loss, and her losing 2 in a row kind of makes sense, and it's a hometown fight for Jasmine. But I'm going to go against that ideology here in a second. But that's what I would do for this one. Stay away and enjoy it. The next one I have a pretty big bet in, and I feel pretty strongly about this as well. Charles Radke versus Mike Malott. Radke was in a press conference, and he kind of juiced this fight up a little bit Got people kind of excited about it. The whatever you feel about USA versus Canada, he kind of got that blood flowing a little bit more, saying he's going to make Canada pay for booing the anthem. Kind of funny, kind of fired me up a little bit. I was like, I always love someone that's really cocky at a press conference. And UFC, you get that a ton. And Charles Radke is certainly that. He's also a very solid fighter. He's 7-4 himself, 5 wins by KO, 2 wins by submissions, 5 first-round finishes, or about 50% of his fights. It's a see you later, buddy, in the first round. His only loss in the at UFC, I should say, was to Prates, and Prates is a beast. And, he lost to Ian Gary. That was a very, very close fight, even though, Gary kind of tore him up a little bit in the beginning. He catches him in the end. What are you going to do? It goes to Gary. But I don't knock Radke for that loss because, again, Prates is on his way up. The favoritism I have in this is Mike Malott has won 3 of his last 4 fights, but he lost to Neil Magny. He is himself extremely talented, 11-2, 4 wins by knockout, 6 wins by submissions, 9 first-round finishes. If you look at kind of the stats and the numbers, Malott, it kind of leans his way. So, but they're in the same realm. They're in the same ballpark. They're practically the same in strikes absorbed. Only 0.03 is a difference between the two, and it edges to Mike. On top of that, the thing about this is if significant strikes landed, Charles is 3.38, Malott's 3.85. So again, they're both very similar in that ballpark. The big difference that you see in this is Charles Radke is a black belt in jiu-jitsu and has 100% takedown defense. Malott defense is not great. It's 17%. And the reason why I want to highlight this is because let's say Charles, I think it's going to be a stand-up battle. I don't think it's going to be a ground and pound at all. But if Charles is losing on the feet, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes very, very quickly to the takedown to try to slow the pace of the fight and just to change up the energy and get the crowd booing. If the crowd's booing in Canada for a Canadian fight, that means you are winning. That means the American's doing great. And I think that's the route for Radke to play. Plus, he's, plus money in this and kind of the fire and the energy. I'm getting caught up in it. I'm being biased in it. I kind of love it. That's why I'm also in that direction as well. Maybe more of a heart play, but either way, I think this fight will go the full distance. I don't think either of them are going to get knocked out or go down before the final bell rings. So probably the best way to play it is to go the distance, but I do favor Radke in this to kind of pull off the upset at plus 140. The next one, Alex Grasso, my queen. She's one of my favorite fighters in the UFC currently versus Natalie Silva. I hate this matchup for Grasso so much. I really, really do. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Grasso, she's a former champion, just did kind of like the trilogy with Valentina, and she lost the belt back in UFC Mexico. She's still the number 1 contender. She's defending her rank. If Silva beats her in this fight, she will get a title shot. And Silva, you just can't say enough great things. 12-fight win streak, 5 wins by KO, 7 wins by submission. 91% takedown defense. She's getting you back up. Significant strikes are amazing. Her strikes absorbed is fairly low at around 2.35. It is Silva's hardest test. And she is the heavy favorite because she is so, so, so dangerous. And I don't see any way that Grasso can win. I think Alex is not the better striker. That worries me. I think Alex is the better grappler. The problem is you can't get Silva to the ground. So if you can't get Silva to the ground, you can't, show that you're the better grappler. If you can't win in the stand-up, then you're in trouble. I think it's going to be one of those fights where Grasso goes to the corner and she's sitting down and her team's around him and she just goes, I don't have any answers for her. I can't beat her up top. I can't get her down low. I'm not finding my distance. I'm not finding my angles. Guys, I don't know what to do. That's the fight I envision this. This is the way I kind of see this going in Grasso versus Silva. Yeah. And I hate it because I love Grasso and I think she's an extremely talented fighter, but I think Silva's just on a different planet and she is coming in here just to take lives. And I think just Alex is the next one up before she gets a title shot. I think it's going to be a brutal one. I think it's going to be kind of lopsided, but I don't think Alex is going to go down. I'd be very, very surprised if she gets knocked out. I'd be even more surprised if she gets submitted. So I'd go ahead and take Silva by decision in this fight. I believe you can find that at plus money at some places as well. So go ahead and take it in that one. All right, the next one we have is the Hall of Famer. He got put in the Hall of Fame, and then he announced he's coming back right away. Kind of funny, right? You get in the Hall of Fame, it's kind of like the ultimate I'm done. Thanks for coming, guys. Appreciate appreciate you having me. See you later. I'm out of here. Okay. And then as soon as he gets it, he's like, all right, I'm coming in. I'm moving up in class. I'm going for the title. All right, you going for the title? Just, a couple paychecks. It was fun. It's all good. I know there's a little controversy about if he should have lost his last fight, but it doesn't matter. He now faces Iman Zuhabi, and he's 12-2 right now. He's on a 5-fight win streak, 3 by decision in that, 2 by KO. Jose Aldo, I mean, what more do you want to say? Former champ, he's 32-9. He has 12 first-round finishes. He's just been around the world and more in the UFC. He's taken a lot of damage over the time. I think I was talking about this with Brandon Combs last night in BetMGM Tank that you can find anywhere you get your podcast. But I think this is the fight where he throws the gloves on the ground and says, I'm finished. I am done. I'm stepping away from MMA officially. At least I hope so, because it gets to a certain point where you got to protect the fighter from themselves. And I think that's the point we're at right now with him. So in this fight, I'm in a lot because of the fight streak, because of how young he is, because of being in Canada. And I just think at this moment currently, not overall, but at this moment currently, he is the better fighter. But I will say this, and you see in the numbers, Iman really takes a lot. As much as he can dish out strikes, dish out combos, dish out punches, kicks, whatever, he's going to eat just as many. And that can leave a lot of opportunities for Jose Aldo. Can he take advantage of them? We shall see. He's a very good technical fighter, but that's the only worry I would have for Iman is as much as he might throw a mean right hand, but you can kind of throw one back at him pretty quickly and do some damage to him while you do it. And that's the part where I go, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Like, I hope he can kind of survive and be okay. I think he will. And I think because it's Jose, most likely his last fight, I think he stays in it. So I think he'll go full distance. But again, another fight that's going to be extremely exciting. That's going to be lights out action the whole time. That's this whole card is. This whole card is sit in your seat and wait for something to pop. Valentina now defends her flyweight belt. Moving on to the next fight versus Manon Fiorot. I think that's I'm saying that right. I've heard people say her last name about 8,000 different ways now. So I don't know. I could be saying it right. I could be saying it wrong. That's on me. Speech impediment. Didn't really do that great in first grade. What are you going to do? But Valentina, she just regained her title from our Queen Alex. Extremely balanced in every single way. Whether it goes to the ground, whether it's up top, she's an electric. Just her birthday, too. Shout out to her. But she's just an electric fighter wherever you want to take it. She's a human highlight reel. She faces a fighter that's 12-1. That's on a 12-fight win streak. And Manon is she's the hot hand right now. I mentioned the 12-fight win streak, but she has had 5 wins in a row by decision, but before that, she had some big KOs. She delivers some big shots. Her striking's very, very huge in 4.62 per minute. That is lethal. That is more than Valentina, by the way. Now, she does absorb more, but, it's a healthy distance between the landed versus absorbed where that kind of makes sense, and it proves that, you can still dodge the punches after you throw them. In this one, as much as I would like to say that I think it's honestly more of a toss-up, and the line kind of reflects it. Like, Valentina is a short plus 115 on the money line versus Manon at minus 135. This is where I go, Valentina's been around the block longer than Manon has, and I know she's on this 12-fight win streak. But if you're going to give me a champ at plus 110, it's hard for me to say no thank you. Very, very hard. And like we talked about earlier, Valentina's been active. She hasn't been out of the game. Very, very active. Obviously, had her trilogy fight with the Grasso, but in that last one, she looked amazing. She looked freaking awesome. She looked light years ahead of Alex. Like, it's just dominated the fight. It wasn't I wonder who's going to win this one. No, it was convincingly. Because of that, and at the plus money, I'm going to take Valentina in it. You can make the argument for Manon. I completely, don't hate you for it. I wouldn't say you're dumb for taking it. That's probably the smarter side. But just with the plus money, and I think this is truly a 50-50 split, I'm going to take Valentina on the plus money because that's just how it goes. Let's get to the main fight. We'll come in. Last fight of the evening. Belal Muhammad, welterweight, versus Jack Della Maddalena. Maddalena. I'm telling you guys, speech impediments, getting there. We're getting there. We're getting better. But Jack, Electric Factory, 16 fight win streak, 17-2. Takedown defense is strong. Significant strikes is amazing with 6.74. And the way that what really stops me about Jack, right, is Jack's last fight against Gilbert Burns. Because I think the Gilbert Burns strategy is going to be a little similar to Muhammad's in terms of I'm going to stand with you until I either don't feel comfortable that I can or that I realize that maybe you're a little bit better than I expected at it. And then I'm going to shoot on you. And then I'm going to take you to the ground. I'm going to make the crowd boo. Because when the crowd boos, that's better for a grappler, not good for a striker. I think that's what Muhammad's going to do here. But when you watch that Gilbert Burns fight, that's what Burns did. You go into that last round of Jack versus Burns, and you kind of think, okay, Burns at least, if he didn't win all the rounds, he at least won 3 out of the 4. So he's going to the last one, and you go in, and his corner was saying this: you got to do something. You're down. You're not going to win. If this goes to the judges, you're not going to win. And Jack was in trouble. It wasn't like Jack was getting dominated, but his striking was fine because we know it. We know it is, but Gilbert Burns was controlling him on the ground. Was even landing some of his own pretty good shots. And Jack had to make a move. So last round starts. Gilbert Burns takes his back. Gets him on the ground, takes his back. And it does look terrible for Jack. Like I was even rewatching and going, I can't believe he got out of this. I can't believe he won it. Brazilian takes your back. Not night, dude. That ain't happening. But that's not Jack. Jack gets out of it. Rolls out of it. He goes to stand up. Gilbert Burns, who's tired, you can tell, but, knows he's in pace to win. And all he really needs to do is shoot again, pretty much just lay on him in control body position, and then hear that bell ring, and congratulations, you won. Well, he goes for it. Jack says, taste my knee, and just nails him right in the chin. And boom, Burns is asleep. I think that is the strategy that Belal Muhammad is going to go into in this fight. The problem is Muhammad's a lot better fighter than Gilbert Burns, respectfully. The problem is Muhammad overwhelmed Leon Edwards. And Leon Edwards lost a couple, but still that was Edwards at his top, and that means something. He is a better fighter. He's a better striker. I think he's a little bit better of a grappler now, you could say as well. So it is going to be a tall task for Jack to overcome. And, Muhammad's saying, I hear all about your striking, hear about your striking. I think I'll be okay. I do think he'll be all right. But don't, Jack can piece you up top. He likes to attack your midsection. He's nothing to mess around with, man. So, in all this being said, I think because of the overall better fighter is still Muhammad, and I'm going to take him by decision, which is at -115. And that's the best value you're going to get when betting Muhammad. Just because he's so dominated in his fights. He's so forceful in it. He just owns the center of the octagon. He puts you against the fence. And while, it's not going to end maybe with the flashiest knockout ever, he's going to dominate you from start to finish. So you can still get it, like I said, at -115. His number kind of came down a little bit. If you want to bet Jack, you can get him on the money line at +145. I don't, I wouldn't hate that. I just think Muhammad's chin's pretty strong. He can eat a lot from Jack if he gets in those kind of tough scenarios on up top. And then he can, change direction, change levels, and maybe confuse Jack a little bit. So I like Belal Muhammad, if I could talk, by decision in this fight. I think it's going to go the distance. I don't see either of them going out before that. But for them to go the distance, it's not the greatest value. It's like -175. Take it if you want. Maybe parlay it with something else in this card if you really, really like it. Another one of these fights to go the distance, because I think a lot of them will. I think this card screams going to be bloody but long is what this card screams, right now, is that it's, there are going to be a lot of action, a lot of pops, but expect these fighters to go the distance and not tap out or get knocked out pretty early. But that's what I like in this fight. And that's what I like for this card for UFC 315. Going to be awesome. Going to be sick. I mean, I'm going to have like the largest cold brew at like 10:30 and just sit there with a smile on my face and have a good time. So everyone tune in. Make sure you like it. Make sure you like, subscribe to this podcast as well. Wages and Warriors with Mario Herron. And if I suck, tell me I suck. If you think I'm good, let me know a little bit. All right. And have a great day. And enjoy Saturday. Enjoy the fights. We'll see you guys next time. Wages and Warriors. And check out the Bullet Group podcast. Available wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you. See you next time.